hello. How's it going, people? Welcome to the stream. Welcome. I want to say it's Sunday. I actually want to say it's Sunday. It is Sunday, the 16th of November. We are here, we are live. And there are news, of course, regarding Arsenal. International break has kicked into full gear. Teams are qualifying, not qualifying for the World Cup and all that good stuff. But of course, Arsenal are still in the talk, are one of the talking points in the dressing room. Let's just put it that way. And there are some good news, some bad news, depends how you look at it regarding Arsenal, of course. So smash the like button if you haven't already. Subscribe if you're new, and leave your thoughts down the live chat your thoughts regarding Arsenal, of course, regarding specifically injuries at the moment, because there are talks about Gabriel, there are talks about Calafiori, and it's a very, very big question mark to some of them. I'm not gonna lie. Give me a sec. But yeah, people. Yeah. So, Arsenal news regarding injuries is definitely a rough one. Let's just put it that way. Big up Mubarak, big up. Well, if Gabriel injury is serious, then I blame Gabriel's. I don't know what that means. Was friendly, no reasons why he decided to risk him. True, but at the same time, let's be real. International managers get players for literally handful of times a year, pretty much. Our managers, the specific clubs, get them consistently. And it's also a big reason up to them to manage their minutes, manage their time, and manage everything how they go about things. So they are in the best shape of form throughout the season, and actually to some extent to the international teams, because let's be real, international teams and everything, they don't care. They don't care because Ancelotti doesn't care, because Arsenal don't pay his wages. Tuchel doesn't care because Arsenal don't pay his wages, FA does. So playing Saka, Rice, all these guys, it's up to them, not up to Arsenal at the end of the day. So if you want to blame anyone, you can only blame the club at the end of the day, the club they play for not giving them enough of a rest. Let's just put it that way. This big up most wanted. This is not an Arsenal that Big Gabby is injured. This is not an Arsenal that Big Gabby is injured. Not on Arteta as well, but it's a big blow if this is gonna keep him out. True, but it looks like he's gonna be out for some time. My camera again is going out of focus, and I absolutely hate it. I'm very sorry about that. But this is a big blow for Arsenal if he's out, especially for an extended period of time. And I'm gonna put it on Arsenal and Arteta to some extent, definitely, because his minutes have not been managed at all. Playing unnecessary minutes, which resulted into an ACL, and ACL hamstring injury, massive one. And after that, of course, those are the consequences, that players get more injury prone the more injuries they get. It's an inevitable cycle at the end of the day, and everything stems from that, in my opinion at least. Big up, Ryan. Big up. I'm looking to buy some retro football shirts. Which one should I buy? I thought Unreal 304, Zidane 98, World Cup, Maldini 607. I would go for Thierry Henry one, and I would definitely go for Zidane's one and Henry's one. 100%, without shadow of a doubt. No questions asked. Those would be my prime ones. I would actually go and look after in that point of view. But let's start off on some positive news. Somewhat positive news regarding Arsenal, of course, in terms of injuries. It's about, of course, the Italian stallion, the dog, the supermodel for Arsenal, Riccardo Calafiori. And we're going to talk about this. Apparently, Calafiori will be available for Arsenal after international break, with the North London derby next Sunday. The Italian is not suffering an injury and was sent home from the early squad due to overload. So he had something, and it was managed. Gattuso also said that it wouldn't be fair to keep him at the Italian international team, and it wouldn't be fair to Arsenal to keep him here. So basically, at the end of the day, they decided to send him back. And according to recent news, and even according to Fabrizio Romano, Calafiori is going to be ready. He's going to be fully fit, apparently, and ready to go for Arsenal against, of course, against Spurs. Now, that is good news, no matter how you look at it, because no matter how you look at it, having players available is a good thing. Let's be real, people. Having players available definitely is a good goddamn thing. So Calafiori available, yeah, that's good. But it's not all about Calafiori, and it's definitely not so good when we talk about our main guy. In my opinion, our best defender in the team, Gabriel Magalhães. Gabriel Magalhães was reevaluated this Sunday, underwent tests that have revealed a muscle injury in his right thigh. Therefore, he will not travel with the team to for the match against Tunisia in Lille. Obviously, there's another game for Brazil in the friendlies against Tunisia. He's not traveling. He's staying in London, apparently. Of course, at home. Let's just put it that way. In his second home, let's just say it that way, right? And there are talks that he could be out for 1 to 2, 3 weeks, maybe. It could be day-to-day managed, potentially. And there are also talks that if it's a bit more serious, it could be a month, or maybe 2 months. And then definitely it's going to be a rough one, because our first 3-4 games, even 5, let's just put it that way, 5 games coming back after this international break are make or break type of games to some extent. Maybe not as much Brentford at home, but the rest of them definitely. Like Spurs at home, Bayern at home, Chelsea away, Aston Villa away. Those are those that are more or less very important. Arsenal tend to crumble in December, maybe a bit later. Usually between December and February, Arsenal tend to drop the ball. And not having Gabriel definitely is not a good sign for Arsenal. It definitely is going to influence us, and not in a very, very good way, which is a big worry. Big up, Arlen. Big up, no big Gubby, man. This is a worry, exactly. Exactly, this is a worry, because this kind of changes a lot for Arsenal. It changes the defensive aspects, it changes the attacking aspects, and it changes the set pieces at the end of the day. Because for me, Gabriel Magalhães has been the best defender at Arsenal for the last year and a half, 2 years. And going forwards, he's been the focal point on set pieces. He's been the man who receives the cross for a shot or to lay off for another player to take a shot. And without Gabriel there, it will be interesting if he doesn't play, who picks up the pace, who picks up the slack whilst he is out. And for me, at least from overall, I don't see anyone stepping up to the same level as Gabriel at Arsenal, which definitely now raises the questions, and it's definitely a bit of a worry. Let's just put it that way. Big up, Hendon. Big up, Hendon. Hope you're doing well. Looks like Rice, Eze, Saka, and Saliba all are unscathed in their internationals. It looks that way. Saliba was on the bench today. Saka was on the bench, came off the bench today. Eze, Rice played. They got subbed off. Everything is good from those players, but Gabriel, it's definitely not a good sign, of course. Hoping Gabriel pulled a sickie so he could stay in London and not go to France for the Tunisia friendly. Hopefully, but it doesn't look that well. It definitely doesn't look in that regard, because if you could expect maybe something for Arsenal to pull off, Arteta and stuff like that for the media, but for that to do, also Brazil started doing that. There is no benefit for Brazil to do such a thing. Gabriel as well. There were reports saying that Gabriel already trained separately from the main squad before the game against Senegal to manage his load, and there were some to basically monitor him, which already kind of looks a very, very not a very good limelight in terms of injuries, in terms of long-term situations. Because if you're fit, you train with the squad. You only train separately unless you literally have an injury, you're recovering, or you have some suspicions of injury, or something like that, in my opinion. So that is a bit of a worry. For me, that is a worry, because Gabriel out, that definitely is not good. Let's just put it that way. Definitely not that good. Maybe Hincapie, he ain't that bad. Maybe he could replace him. Maybe Mosquera is going to do that. Who knows, to be honest, at this stage. Whether it's going to be Hincapie, whether it's going to be Mosquera, maybe Calafiori even is going to step in at center back. Who knows? But we have the players to replace him. Now, the thing is, can they replace Gabriel to the same level? Will it give us the same confidence in terms of our defense? No, it won't. It definitely won't, because Gabriel is one of those that, for me personally, for Arsenal to replace Gabriel, if they lose him, right, it's gonna be tougher than replacing Saliba. I'm talking about the sale here. If we sell Gabriel and if we sell Saliba, one or the other, replacing Saliba, in my opinion, for Arsenal would be much easier task than replacing Gabriel. Because Gabriel, for me, is a bit of an old school type of defender who puts his body on the line, who definitely does everything, who puts his heart and soul into the team. Yes, he had a bozo gene. He has kind of pretty much nullified it. Let's be real. His latest game, obviously against Sunderland, wasn't the greatest, but overall, he's been solid. He's been, for me, the best defender we have had over the last 2 years at Arsenal. So losing I think losing Gabriel definitely is an issue. No, man, no big Gubby to cover is a big one. Well, we have a cover. Let's be real. Hincapié, Calafiori, we definitely have the cover. Mosquera as well. He last season for Valencia played quite a bit at the left-sided center back because the Akabi was out and all these players. But can he replace them to the same level? Can any of Arsenal players replace them to the same level? No, they can't. And with some of the toughest games coming up right now, it definitely is gonna test our squad depth and how good are our closest reserves. Because Mosquera has played quite, you could argue, quite a bit compared to other players at center back, and he's been very, very happy there. Very happy. He's been very good there, especially against Liverpool when he came on, right? He's been very decent there. He has had good games, but again, he's very young, some extent inexperienced. It will be very interesting to see if he plays, how he's going to handle that situation. Hincapié as well. He's not very experienced in Premier League. He hasn't played a lot because he pretty much instantly got injured when he joined Arsenal. So again, there are question marks about him. Definitely there are. And Calafiori, let's be real, he's coming just now back of injury. You could say so. He plays more of a left back. He's very pivotal how Arteta envisions Arsenal playing. So he most likely is going to be a left back, which now, in my opinion, leaves only Hincapié and Calafiori and Mosquera for center back options. Only those two at the end of the day. Only those two. But we'll see how that's going to happen. This what makes the team good. We will have to see what happens. Will Hincapié, Mosquera, Calafiori? Yeah, exactly. We will see if they step up. To what extent they can step up at the moment, because Gabriel most likely is gonna be out for I would say a week, 2 weeks, and unfortunately, in span of this week, 2 weeks, we have these four: the Bayern, the Spurs, the Chelsea. In 2 weeks, we have also Aston Villa away, and Emery tends to do well against Arsenal. Arsenal's record against Aston Villa since Emery has been there. It's 2 wins, 1 draw, 2 losses. So it's pretty much even Steven at this stage. And this will also show how much Arteta can step up, who he's going to trust, and to what extent he's going to trust. Because Gabriel plays pretty much every single game bell to bell. He's one of those guys. And he obviously has played some unnecessary minutes over the course of the last few seasons where he should not be playing, right? At the same time, he is one of those Mr. Reliables. He is the Mr. Reliable. Let's just put it that way for Arsenal. So it will be very interesting how Arsenal are going to replace him, who's going to play, and how that's going to look. Our biggest injury worry, nothing else is bigger than this, not even Saka. To be honest, for me, if Rice gets injured, it's also a big worry. For me, it's Rice and Gabriel. If those two get injured, it's going to be rough. It definitely is going to be rough. Exactly. It's going to be very tough without him offensively and defensively. It's going to be very rough. I'm kind of happy with links to Eze Young. Yeah, he's decent. He's very, very decent. I'm also seeing some other links today, which we're going to get to in a second. I'm not too sure what other people think about this, but Arsenal, there have been links. There have been links with a specific player in attacking front who also tends to play left wing at times. So we're definitely going to discuss that also in a bit of a second. Big up, Kwaja. Big up, Kwaja. Hope you're doing well today, my bro. Hope you're doing very, very well today, my bro. Hope Sunday has treated you well. Hope Sunday has treated you well, my guy. Nice also chatting to you on Instagram as well. Very nice. Love the reels or TikToks, more TikToks than anything. Big up to you, my man. Smash the likes, people, and subscribe if you haven't already. 8 likes so far. Keep smashing them. Keep smashing them. If we get to 10, let's push it to 15 if we can, people. Gabriel, major doubt. Huge blow. Yeah, exactly. Huge. Will Arteta step up? Well, that is the question for the ages. Because no matter how you look at it, how Arsenal are doing, what is happening, penny drops at Mikel Arteta. It all begins and it all drops at Arteta. And it would be very interesting to see how that goes. Because Arteta picks the team, Arteta picks the tactics, Arteta picks the gaming style and everything. And how he replaces, how he rotates the players, it's going to be quite a bit on Arteta as well. I'm not worried with Chelsea. We do pretty good there. I'm worried about Aston Villa, Bayern, and Spurs. I'm worried about Chelsea because last 2 years when we have gone to Chelsea, we have drawn 2-2 and 1-1. And in the 2-2 draw, I also cannot forget the fact that, well, we were 2-0 down. And it looked like we will not get even a sniff of a game there. We will basically lose that game. It looked that way. But then Robert Sanchez made an error. Declan Rice scored from about 30 yards out, bend it like Declan and all that stuff. And then basically Chelsea kind of crumbled. Definitely Chelsea kind of crumbled and we pushed for a draw. But also last year in 1-1 draw at the Stamford Bridge, it wasn't easy. It was very, very hard. And on top of all that, Chelsea had some very good chances to even win that game. We had chances, but Chelsea had some few better ones. So at the end of the day, it wasn't easy. And Chelsea at the time were considered a mess, a very bad mess. And Arsenal were arguably, as people want to say, top of their game to some extent. And we only managed to get a draw. So that game at Stamford Bridge, for me, there are question marks. Definitely there are. Calafiori is fine, so he will feature. Yeah, Calafiori is fine. Apparently, he is going to feature in the North London derby. Most likely as a left back. At least I would expect that. Good morning, Fusion is not Jazz. Good morning. Hope you're doing well. Who the F is Eta Young? Oh, this is Carl Efa Young, striker from Levante, as you can see. 12 games, 6 goals, 3 assists, plays striker exclusively. Let's just put it that way. They signed him for 3 million. Most likely they're going to sell him for about 20 or something like that. But he's been very, very, very decent. He's been very, very decent for Levante so far this season. The 2026 FIFA World Cup draw is on December 5th, 5 p.m. UK time. Oh, that's going to be interesting. That definitely is going to be interesting, and we're definitely going to talk about that at some point, definitely. Never heard of him. I thought we were going for Yildiz, Nusa, and Semenyo. Those are wingers. Ete Young is a striker. We need Robinson. Well, we'll see what we're going to do. To be honest, I don't want this manager not getting any money as well. In Latvia, is a different time zone. Well, let's just put it that way. I'm 2 hours ahead of England. If in England at the moment it's 8:18 p.m., for me it's 10:18 p.m. Hence why I also don't do Champions League games. Arsenal play usually at 10 p.m. my time, the time I usually stream. Hence why I don't do streams. If I was in UK and I was doing 10 p.m. streams, I could stream straight after the game. 2 hour difference between me and UK. I think Mosquera is better to back up Magalhaes. Well, he's more experienced in Premier League. Let's just put it that way. I think Hincapié as a left back would be an interesting option also to exploit and explore as an Arsenal, because he was very good for them for Bayer Leverkusen when they won the league then. Bro, is in the same Chelsea. This Chelsea defend way better and they have way better attack. Yeah, Estevao is insane. We'll look without Gabriel worse. Calafiori. It will be interesting to see if Calafiori plays him against Estevao. It definitely is going to be very, very interesting. Don't underestimate any team. Anyone can smack us. Yeah, anyone can smack us. Anyone can beat anyone at the end of the day on any given day, especially in cup competitions. We are talking about the league as well here. So anyone can beat anyone. Don't take anyone lightly. Cannot say don't worry, because people even said don't worry about Sunderland and all these teams, and we saw how that went. We could have lost that game as well to some extent. We cannot take any game lightly, any whatsoever. Mosquera could come in. He has been decent, yeah. I think Mosquera most likely is going to be the one. Although I wouldn't also put it past Mikel Arteta to basically put Hincapié as a center back. Mosquera and Saliba partnership would be good, yeah. I think so. I would expect it to be good. Although they're kind of similar, a bit too similar for my taste a bit. And Mosquera gets caught out of position at times, and his pace obviously bails him out many times. The thing about Saliba is he's not that anchor hard man at the back. Because, yeah, Saliba didn't look the greatest when Gabriel was out last year when Kivior took his place. When Kivior took Gabriel's place. So there are some bit and answer questions about Saliba, but it will be interesting to see how he plays if Gabriel is out. Big up, Wahaha. Big up. Good evening, Wahaha. Hope you're doing well. My backline for Arsenal, Skelly, Hincapié, Saliba, Timba. Interesting. You mean against Spurs? Saliba, Timba, Saliba, Hincapié, Skelly. To be honest, I would not be against even Hincapié playing. The only thing about Hincapié is the fact that he hasn't played too much in Premier League. He's not as adapted. Wait, let me check this quickly. Hincapié, right? Piero Hincapié. How much Piero Hincapié has played in Premier League? Hincapié has played 26 minutes of Premier League football. Hincapié has played 26 minutes of Premier League football. In the meantime, Mosquera, right, has played 294 minutes of Premier League football. So 11 times more than Hincapié. So I would actually put my money on Mosquera maybe replacing Gabriel at this stage. Mosquera finally, yeah, he might to some extent. Good, big up Stockholm, Gooner. Big up. Bad timing? Yeah, definitely not. The worst timing to some extent with the Gabriel injury. The worst. Neto is dangerous too, bro. Never let him out of sight. Neto is injured, if I'm not mistaken. Pedro Neto is injured. He didn't play for Portugal as well, I think, today. Pedro Neto, I think, is injured. Yeah, he has muscular injury. The issue with that is he is expected to be back just before as international break ends. He's expected to be back at that time. So he definitely is going to be ready, most likely, for the Arsenal game. So it's gonna be very not the greatest. And Neto loves to score against Arsenal. Remember that he scored last year as well. Yeah, that for me is the biggest worry. Mosquera is a little too similar to Saliba. They are too similar in their play styles and the way they want to play. Hence why maybe playing someone like Hincapié would make more sense. The issue with Hincapié is he doesn't have the experience in Premier League as much compared to obviously Mosquera. I'm gonna pray that Gabriel is fine. Yeah, we gotta. But with the Gabriel, the thing is, no matter what kind of injury he has, best case scenario, he's out for a week or two. And even if he's out for 2 weeks, starting from yesterday, he's gonna miss the Bayern, the Spurs, the Chelsea. That is the biggest issue here for me. Hincapié and Saliba. Yeah, I think that would be a better option. Although Hincapié is a bit of a hothead at times. Then again, playing for his national team, he's been insane. Very good. The same Arteta that said Gabriel was a serious doubt against Crystal Palace on 26th of October, yet still played him. Yeah, that obviously is the question. Would he risk him playing him injured? Most likely he would. Let's be real. Based on history, most likely he would. But I don't. People say that it might be a scheme, maybe from Gabriel just saying stuff like that, and maybe just Brazil going along with it. But for Brazil, there is no benefit in these terms going along with it. There's no benefit for Brazil because Ancelotti gets these players literally for about 9-10 times for 2 games. So basically, he gets them for about 15 to 20 games a year, a whole calendar year. So I don't see the reason why, just before the World Cup pretty much, he would do anything like that. Everybody is dangerous. Don't ever underestimate anyone. Exactly. Hincapié is a better center back than Mosquera. We'll see about that, but Hincapié is more proven on the big stage, let's just put it that way. But in Premier League, ironically enough, Mosquera has more experience. 3 at the back, Hincapié, Saliba, Timba. It could work, but Arteta is never going to go for it. He plays 4 at the back exclusively, so I don't think that's going to be happening. Backline should be Skelly, Calafiori, Saliba, Timba. And that for me is the other thing. Calafiori at center back. He plays there for Italy. For Arsenal, he doesn't play there pretty much at all to some extent. He plays again exclusively as a left back for Arsenal. So I'm not too sure how that would work out. Because for me, Calafiori, the way I see at least Calafiori in this Arsenal team is that he's very pivotal in Arteta's system, how we attack. We have seen Calafiori play left back, and then all of a sudden he's at striker, left wing, right wing, number 8, number 6, number 10. He's all across the pitch. His freedom that he has been given by the manager is kind of very unique and very unexpected. And it's also very pivotal of how Arsenal want to do things. Well, Arteta at least. Don't be surprised if Arteta plays Gabriel. Exactly. That for me is the only drawback because he has played injured players before and to far worse injuries as well. Obviously, with the groin injury or thigh, whatever he has, he cannot run. which obviously could slow him down. Then again, some pain injections and everything, and he's good to go, right? Plus, our attack is nowhere. Chelsea's plus don't have proper left wing. No Gyökeres. Gyökeres should be also back for the game, shouldn't it? Are there any talks about Gyökeres? Because the last time I read anything about Gyökeres was that he's expected to be back for the Spurs game as well. Any news on Gyökeres in that regard? My back four is Timber, Saliba, Hincapié, Calafiori. I can see that. That left side, though, is very unproven. It hasn't done much playtime together. To be honest, none of them have. Mosquera or Hincapié, it doesn't matter. They haven't played a lot on that left side together. So there will be issues. I expect there will be some misunderstandings, miscommunications. There will be issues. I expect that to some extent. But Calafiori gallops like a wild horse. Yeah, that's why he plays left back. I don't trust Calafiori in the big games. He gets cooked. Skelly's better. Yeah, Skelly is better 1v1. But with Skelly, the thing is that he's, to be honest, just like Calafiori, very rash in his decision-making sometimes when he defends. Gives away silly fouls, picks up silly yellows, and that could be an issue. And Skelly, by default, is not out-and-out defender in general. So it is basically a coin flip, let's just put it that way. And why my camera is again out of focus? Like, I cannot stand this. Genuinely cannot stand. I need to get another light. That I set here so it flashes in my face. Maybe then there will be better focus. Calafiori vs Bournemouth at Old Trafford. Ooh. Opening game. Yeah, I remember. It wasn't a pre-watch, just like in general, like tough times for Calafiori. Yeah, it could be. It definitely could be tough times for Calafiori without shadow of a doubt. Definitely could be tough times for Calafiori. In other news, Norway are losing 1-0 against Italy. Esposito has scored. Then again, this is a meaningless game because Norway needs to lose by 15 goals to actually be first in the table. That's for Italy to overtake them. So that in a one-way, shape, or form is just for bragging rights to some extent. I'm not going to lie. Which is kind of nuts when you think about it. But hey, I guess it is what it is in that regard. But yeah. Thank God I ain't the manager who I would get sacked on day 2. Woof. We would see about that. Definitely. Calafiori versus Kudus or Johnson. It will be rough. Kudus is gonna rough Calafiori up big time. Kudus is a player who loves to get physical. And with his technical ability, for Calafiori, it's gonna be rough. It's very easy to get Calafiori off balance. He falls off to the ground easily because due to his height, his agility and balance is not the greatest. Skelly, on the other hand, would be better on his feet. He would be better defending that. At the same time, with Skelly, he's not as experienced as a defender. That is, again, another drawback for Skelly and rash with the yellows. Arsenal-Chelsea games will always be the most nerve-wracking one for me. They have the most irritating fans in my country. I think the aftermath after the games for you is the worst, isn't it? The aftermath for the games is the worst for you, isn't it? In that regard. But yeah, people, let's take a step back from the injuries and let's talk about this. Arsenal have entered the race, according to Team Talk, for Borussia Dortmund's Karim Adeyemi, with Manchester United also keen on the Germany forward. Like, Adeyemi was such a bright and hot prospect like a few years ago. Right now, it's a bit of a hit and miss. It's a very, very questionable one when you go for him, when you sign him, or you don't sign him. His value is very overpriced. It's mostly just due to because he's young, because his estimated value would be around 50-60 million pounds, which is way too high. Obviously, he can play across all the front line, left wing, right wing, striker. He can play all across the front line, right? Which obviously Mikel Arteta loves. But for me, Adeyemi is a no-no. I don't want Adeyemi at this club. He's very inconsistent. His finishing lacks, although his pace and everything would kind of bail him out. He would have to track back a lot in those terms. But yeah, for me personally, Adeyemi is just a pace merchant. If you play FIFA and everything, you know the 99, 90 plus pace cards you want to get so you can just sprint past everyone. Adeyemi is one of those cards at the end of the day. Adeyemi is one of those cards. No to Adeyemi. Ryan says no. He's still better than Martinelli Trossard. About Trossard, I would disagree. I would disagree about Trossard because Trossard still, in my opinion, is one of the most consistent and one of the best finishers in the team, despite everything. And with Adeyemi, the finishing is definitely a question mark. I don't know. Educate me, please. Well, Adeyemi is a player who burst on the scene quite young. He obviously comes from Austria, from Salzburg Academy. So he definitely is a good one in that regard. Red Bull Salzburg, right? From Austria. He signed for Borussia Dortmund at 20 years old for 35 million. He's had his ups and downs over his career, although he's only 23 years old. This season, it's not been the greatest for him because he has played literally 10 games in Bundesliga and has 2 goals and 1 assist. Then again, if you look at his previous games, he gets about 7 goals, 6 assists last year in Bundesliga. He plays left wing, center forward mostly. And he's actually very good for them, influential off the bench mostly with the pace and with the abilities. But for me, at the end of the day, for Arsenal, we might as well keep Martinelli. The thing is, though, Adeyemi has better skill abilities than Martinelli. But overall, I would still not go for Adeyemi because Adeyemi will demand about 60 million. And if that is the case, I much rather go for these guys. Yildiz, Barcola, Rodrigo, one of those guys, 100%. 100% I would go for one of those guys because they are much better, much more established, and they look more consistent. Adeyemi is just a speed merchant. Exactly. For me, Adeyemi is more of a speed merchant than anything. Yeah, true. I'm sorry, Trossard. I forgot. Just don't have. Yeah, Trossard doesn't have the speed. Yes, he's 30 years old, so I don't expect him to have the speed. But he has the ability to dribble inside spaces, Trossard, and he has very good finishing touch as well. Yeah, if Trossard had pace still on him, he would be very, very good, I think. If Adeyemi gets that, he would be in this element. Yeah. What about Doué? We are not getting Doué because PSG are never ever going to sell Doué unless you cough off like 150, 200 million. Because Desiree Doué is the future of PSG. And he already has proven to be pivotal for PSG in Champions League race, and he's also quite good, also plays for national team. So he would demand triple-digit money. And I don't think Arsenal are willing to pay that for Doué, definitely. Despite the fact that Arsenal were interested in Doué a few years ago. We didn't sign him. Arsenal were interested in Savio just half a year before City signed him, and we didn't go for him. And it has been like that. What's our bench now when everyone is back and starting 11? Can we talk about that? Yeah, we can. We definitely can. The thing is, the starting 11 depends how you envision this in Arteta's eyes. Because there are two different things. There is what Arsenal fans think, and there is what Arteta thinks. But if everyone is fit, because not everyone is fit, let's just put it that way. Not everyone is fit. Let's just get it straight. Right? But if everyone is fit, everyone is not back. See, that's the thing. I just clocked it right. You say everyone's back, but Gabriel is not back. He's injured. If Gabriel would be back, right, then there would be no issues with that. But overall, the best 11 Arsenal can yield, if Gabriel is okay, then it's Raya, Simba, Saliba, Gabriel, ironically enough, Calafiori, Zubimendi, Rice, Trossard, Saka, Eze, and Gyökeres. That, for me, would be the best 11. And the bench actually looks better now because, technically speaking, we have Dauman, Vanjeri, Havertz, Odegaard, Merino, Norgard, Mosquera, Hincapié, Skelly, White, Kepa. Our bench is also, some players are going to get left out of the team, which is actually quite a nice thing to have for the depth. Then again, the question is, when is that going to come into play? When is that going to come into play overall? Because the backups, there are some players from the starting 11 to the bench where the drop-off is still massive. Jesus, he's back in a month and a half. Jesus is going to be back in late December. Still, Jesus is going to be back late December, just before the transfer window opens, January 1, or when it's going to be open. Apparently, according to talks and articles at the moment, Jesus is in training and everything, but Jesus is expected to be back sometime late December, early January still, full time. So time only will tell. Wouldn't be surprised if he shows up sooner and everything. But yeah, go figure. At the end of the day, go figure. No matter how you want to look at it, go figure. Let's just put it that way. That's fasting. Yeah, that's a different story. How's that kid we got from Ireland doing? I have no idea. Genuinely have no idea. No idea. Let me check this. Arsenal. Let me check this. I'm gonna go through Arsenal players and I'm gonna check. Which one do you mean specifically? That for me is the next question right now. Do you mean... I don't even know which one you mean. I need names. I genuinely need names. You mean Victor Ochinavuna? You mean Victor Ochiavuna, right? Because that's the one we signed from Shamrock Rovers, if I'm not mistaken, till 2027. The guy will get in 2027. Yeah, Victor. Okay, let's check this. Victor Ochiavuna. Well, let's do it this way. Here it is. Victor Ochianvuna. Barely can pronounce his name, to be honest. He player for under 17s. His value is very small, obviously. 16 years old. He's a number 10, ironically enough. 13 games, no goals. Conference League, doesn't play. 1 game in the Cup and 1 game, 1 goal in FIA Cup, whatever that is. Plays for Ireland under 17s. He is part Irish, part Russian, interestingly enough. He can play 10, left wing, right wing. Arsenal are going to sign him in 2027, apparently. Yeah, see? Upcoming transfer 2027 for 2 million. 2027 for 2 million. So far, he hasn't done much. He has played in Conference League in the first leg, which is very interesting. Oh, hasn't. He was on the bench. Under 17s World Cup. Nothing too much to talk about. He plays for Shamrock Rovers already, the main team, which is very, very interesting in that regard. But he hasn't put up any numbers, which is also a very interesting part of this game. Now, let's check last season, if there is a possibility. Wait, 23-24. Did he do anything in 23-24? Nothing, yeah. Like, to follow these guys, you need some extensive knowledge. Probably should ask Shane or someone like that. Definitely should ask Shane or someone like who had 2 names. Come on. Would take him over Odegaard. Already Odegaard is getting shipped out. Big up Claire. Big up Claire. We haven't got him yet until we have 2017. Yeah, we are getting him in 2027, in 2 years. In summer of 2027. He's 16 right now. We're going to get him when he's, what, 17, 16, 17, 18? We're only going to get him then. We still have to wait for this guy. Big up Yessa. Big up Yessa TV. Hope you're doing well today, my bro. Hope Chelsea loan watch and Chelsea national team watch is going well. Hopefully it is going well. Hopefully it's going well. Resident Chelsea fan Estevao Merchant is in the chat. The Taxman. Taxman Yessa. Subscribe to him, people. Show him some love as well. Road to 1K if he's not there already, to be honest. He should be on 1K already. The way he does content. Yeah, he's 167 subs away, people. So go show him some love. Go show him some love. I wish we did more of these pre-transfers. That's one thing Chelsea does correctly. Yeah, they get a lot of youth players. They loan them out. And if they don't work, they sell them. Sell them for good money as well, by the way. For good money. Here is Yessa's link. Go subscribe to him. Show him some love. Now, we all know how much people love XGs, right? We love XGs. Pause and all that. Nah, Robo should be on. Well, you should be there. You do more than I do, to be honest, on the channel. I stream 1 hour a day, a bit more than 1 hour a day. You do watch-alongs, you do everything. I can't do that because I don't have enough time, unfortunately. But yeah, big up to you. Thank you for the kind words. Thank you for the kind words. Listen to Yessa, people. Subscribe to me, like the stream, and subscribe to Yessa as well. We should have been doing what we have so many academy players. Screw XG. XG merchants. Arsenal are the XG champions. We all know that. So here it is. I have to show you this because this is nuts one. This is the XG conceded. Arsenal have conceded almost 2 times less XG than Newcastle and City, by the way. And we are only 4 points above City, by the way. Only 4 points above City. Only 4 points above City with 2 times less XG. The XG champions means just XG means nothing at the end of the day. If you don't put your chances away, it means nothing. We can have this 6.56 XG conceded, but if they score, still, it means nothing. Because you can have 0.2 XG chance, but if you score from it, it means nothing at the end of the day. And obviously, Newcastle and City, they concede more, but they still are there. Obviously, Newcastle quite lower. Let's be real. But yeah, definitely a different story. You both should be on 1K. How about that? Big up, Claire. Big up, Claire. Really appreciate that. Big up, big up, big up. What does it make sense to release them now, even using them, see what they can do? You haven't had academy defender in years or left wing. Technically speak, well, Skelly, technically. Odegaard is the best player in the world in hair flicks per game. Oh yeah, definitely. He gets hair expected XH per game. It's unmatched. Gyökeres could rival in him though. Gyökeres definitely could rival him in that. Gyökeres as well. Every time camera turns to Gyökeres on the pitch, he's doing this, like he has a Head and Shoulders Shoma commercial or Palmolive or Old Spice or whatever shampoo commercial he has going on. Definitely feels that way. Definitely feels that way at times. But yeah, people, what are we saying? Adeyemi to Arsenal. Would you take Adeyemi at Arsenal? Just random question. Would you take Adeyemi at Arsenal? Because personally, I wouldn't. That's just my thought process on this. I wouldn't. Because for the money that Adeyemi would command to even sign him from Borussia Dortmund, we could get Yildiz, Semenyo, and players like that. I don't think it would be a smart deal of business. The taxman, Yasa, probably can correct me on business, but yeah, definitely I think it wouldn't. Expected Hairflix 57 plus already. Exactly. Mr. Hairflick, nothing else. Gyökeres actually scores. Well, Gyökeres actually scores goals is a bit of a myth at Arsenal, isn't it? 3 goals or 4 goals only. 4 goals only. Like on that point of view. But yeah, personally, I wouldn't take Adeyemi. I think not many Arsenal fans would. No, I think many Arsenal fans would take Adeyemi at Arsenal, but personally, I wouldn't. That's just my thought process. I respect him as a player, but only players are left wing I want Arsenal are Nusa, Semenyo, and Yildiz. See? Better investment. Which one? Yeah, not worth it. Save money for Garnacho. Relax. Garnacho actually is doing good for you. That is the nuts part. Garnacho is actually cooking for you to some extent. He might actually win you something this season. That sounds mad, but Garnacho, like, the nuts part about Garnacho is he is very, I don't want to say unlikable player, but for me, it feels that way. It was similar with me when Gordon was at Everton. He felt like a very unlikable player, right? But Garnacho at Chelsea is actually doing very decently in the last, let's just say, 4 or 5 games. I think the international break came at the worst time possible because he was hitting decent form there. I'm not going to lie. That's more than Odegaard could score. But seriously, Adeyemi is way too inconsistent, 100%. He's way too inconsistent, and he lacks abilities as well, in my opinion. What's going on with Ben White? Well, go figure. He's probably watching Love Island tapes at the moment. He has told himself he doesn't follow football outside of the Arsenal and everything, so probably he's doing nothing. He's not injured, he's training, but yeah, since that injury, he generally has dropped off a cliff. And for left wing, Estupinian, Robinson, Cambiasso we are not getting. We should be able to get, but we are not getting. For left back, Robinson, we should have gone Olaine or someone like that for free, but yeah. Big up, Sachs. Big up, Sachs. Hope you're doing well today, my guy. I have no opinion regarding the Yemi, but won't risk it, getting another Ade after Adebayor. To be honest, yeah, that didn't go well. Heck, even had I dislike Garnacho like I dislike Mbappe and CR7. Dude, why don't you like Mbappe? And I could imagine why you don't like CR7. I can get why you don't like Garnacho, but why don't you like Mbappe, for example? And you're gonna start up a massive argument with Marlon in a second, Claire. Seriously, because he is a fanboy to the highest degree regarding Mbappe. I would sell White while he's well. Yeah, I would sell Ben White and get someone else for the right back. I would do that because we know that Ben White at center back is not it, unless it's a 3 at the back. And as a right back, since the injuries, definitely he has fallen off the grace and he gets cooked quite a bit. And the pace also is not there. Physically as well, he gets out-muscled quite a bit at times right now. So definitely I would try maybe invest in a new right back for sure. Merino will probably start as our striker for the next few games. Well, I hope not. I genuinely hope not, because if the rumors are true that Gyökeres could be back, right, for the Spurs game, I think he starts. I genuinely think he starts. But if that is not the case, then definitely it's gonna be a very, very rough one. I genuinely believe it's gonna be a rough one with Merino up top. For all of this, definitely it's not looking great. Definitely not looking great. Because if Merino plays up top against all these teams, to be honest, Merino tends to score goals at least on occasion, compared to some other players we have there up top. Who doesn't see? I don't know. I would rather play Anush or Nelly up top. Yeah, why don't we play Anush or Nelly up top? That for me is also doesn't compute. We could try something like that. Ronaldo didn't play today. Portugal 1-9-1. Surprising. What can you do when Ronaldo is not playing for Portugal? The Portuguese team actually looks more of a team, because not everything is basically solely focused around CR7. And probably Ronaldo is very pissed because they scored 9 goals. He didn't score any of them. Probably missed like 500 grand goal bonus or something like that. Stupid like that, right? But for me, when I have watched Portugal with Ronaldo and without Ronaldo, they're two, in a way, completely different teams. And without Ronaldo, they actually look better. Bruno Fernandes scored a hat-trick today. Ironically enough, the player who was frauding the most for Portugal today was Leao. He actually was the worst of all of them, to some extent, at least from what I've seen. So it was a very interesting one, because Bruno scored a hat-trick, Gonçalo Ramos scored, Conceição came off the bench, scored, and everything. And yeah, Leao was just frauding. Mbappe is a thief, but I have no real reason. I see. Would Henry be decent at Arsenal manager? Nah, he wouldn't. Henry definitely would not be. He has done his job as a manager, as a club manager. Well, he hasn't even had a proper club. He has, but he hasn't. He has been international manager, help at Belgium under Martinez. He has been at France unders for Olympics and everything. He has gone him to the final, but ultimately, I would not take Thierry Henry as the manager. I would not. I don't want any Arsenal ex-player or legend as the manager of the club, period. Unless there is one exception to this rule. If a player who is an Arsenal legend is a proven winner, who as a manager has won the league, let's just say there is Arsenal player, let's just say Robert Pires becomes a manager. He wins Serie A or Ligue 1, or he wins Bundesliga and stuff like that, and then he maybe adds some cups to it, then yeah. But for me personally, if Henry, Vieira, someone like that becomes a manager, for me, as a fan who grew up on them, who has seen what they have given to the club, the legacy they have at the club, they absolutely would, not absolutely, but to a certain extent, would tarnish their legacy at the club. And I don't want that to happen to a great player. Anur can create chances for himself, and he needs finishing experience 100%. Can Ronaldo first academy strike in the last 3 years? Yeah, he could. Robo got PTSD. Well, to be honest, he's not disrespecting. We had one based on your criteria, George Graham, but he's too old. Yeah, Exactly. He's too old. He won. He did things. 1-0 to the Arsenal and all this stuff. But yeah, it's a bit different. The nuts part for me is Ronaldo said that scoring in Saudi for him is harder than scoring in La Liga. Well, obviously, 10 years ago, it was easier to score for him in La Liga when he was a striker, when he was in peak form than scoring in Saudi. Well, obviously, it kind of no shit Sherlock type of situation going on there. But hey, yeah, people get offended with opinions these days. Don't worry, Claire, about it. People get opinion. As soon as you have opinion on someone and it doesn't kind of coincide with another person's opinion, instantly you're toxic, you're negative, you're fake. They start an argument, they start calling you names and all this stuff. It's very hard for people to have open-minded discussions and critical and opinionated discussions these days. People are snowflakes, let's be real. Mbappe is a French Rashford. To a certain extent, yes. To a certain extent, yes. He has won more than Rashford, but overall, we'll see how he does. It's just, well, although Rashford at Barcelona actually has picked up some form, he's doing very well at Barcelona at the moment. He also did well today for England as well. So maybe Rashford can actually do something there. Maybe there is something for Rashford. But overall, yeah, 100%. Yes, sir. Just a quick question. How you feeling about the game against Arsenal at the Bridge in a week and a half? How you feeling about that? How you feeling about the game? You worried? You excited? How you feeling about the game? Because for me, I'm very caught in between like 5 minds about this game, especially with Gabriel's latest news and everything. I'm not worried. You think you're gonna win? Or basically at this stage of the time, all the pressure is on Arsenal and nobody expects you to win. Basically, that's what you're saying. You have less expectations from your team this season than Arsenal fans have from Arsenal this season. Who would be better manager, Messi or Ronaldo? To be honest, none of them. Personally, none of them. I'm going to tell you that much. For me, none of them would be a better manager. I don't want to see any of them to be managers as well in the first place. Palmer is back. He ghosts against in the big games, tends to. Obviously, this is the famous last words, but obviously, yeah. I don't see us losing, but they only want to see a win. Yeah, I get it. For us, for example, last 2 years we have gone there, we have drawn 2-2 and 1-1. And the year we draw 2-2, you could argue we should have lost that game, unless Robert Sanchez makes that stupid error, which basically made you shit your pants. At the end of the day, it would not have been a draw because we pretty much didn't have a sniff of a game 2 years ago. And last year as well, it wasn't a great watch. You definitely had chances to even win that game at the end of the day, without shadow of a doubt. And now you have better team, more experience. Defense is better. Midfield is cooking with Enzo, with Caicedo. Also, Estevao looks like is a brilliant signing for you all. Definitely, it's gonna be rough. Big up, Hendon. This Chelsea game depends on which players survive the Spurs and Bayern matches. True. The question is how Arteta will rotate between these 3 games. What he's going to do against Spurs, what he's going to do against Bayern, what he's going to do against Chelsea. Will he sacrifice some players and rotate against Bayern Munich? Because we have a safety net. In Champions League, we can afford to lose a game and still get the top 8, or what he's going to do. Because Arteta has a very interesting choice to make right now, because he cannot afford to play 3 games in span of 1 week with the same 11, all 3 games, because the players are going to drop like flies instantly. They are dropping like now. They're coming back. Some are getting injured once again. But overall, it's definitely going to be a nuts one. But the Achille is back as well. Will be interesting to see. You just mad because they're... Don't indulge Marlon in these discussions, because he's the same guy who thinks Kivior is better than Saliba, right? So be careful there. Let's just put it that way. Don't indulge Marlon, and don't encourage Marlon as well. I want to see it's yeah, the most articles about Arsenal at the moment, right? is about Gabriel's injury and how heavily that injury can affect our season, depending on the extent of the injury and how long Gabriel could be out for. That is the biggest talking point at the moment for Arsenal and the journalists surrounding Arsenal, ironically enough. And that is a worry because obviously they want to create drama and everything surrounding it. They want to talk about it more and all this stuff. But overall, definitely, it's not a good sign. Definitely, it's not a good sign if we talk about Arsenal and Gabriel. Definitely, it could screw us over. Let's just put it that way. Definitely. Yeah, but we'll see how that's gonna go. We'll see how that's gonna go. Big up BBK. 15 likes. Big up to you all, people. If we can push it up to 20 somehow, if there is a possibility to push it up to 20, would be greatly appreciated. And people, of course, don't forget to subscribe to the legend that is BBK. Don't forget to subscribe to the legend that is BBK Sports, people, as well. Top guy, top content, streams, panel shows, everything you can wish and more. NBA talk as well. Very nice NBA talk today. Really enjoyed that one too. So go show him some love, people, as well. Top guy. Top guy. But yeah, I don't know. How to phrase this question even? Now that the international break, right? Pretty much you can say it's gonna be over, right? Do you think Arsenal will be good? Because the last two international breaks we had in September and October, we got no injuries, right? And now after this international break, we have one. Well, let's just say one because of Gabriel. We are not going to count Calafiori because people say he is going to be back. So people, let me know what you think. Are Arsenal lucky that we basically got only one injury during all these three international breaks? Or is it also unlucky that the one injury that actually happens is arguably to one of the most, if not the most important player in Arsenal's team currently? What we saying? What are we saying? Okay. Big up, player, for the like. Big up to you. Big up. What are we saying, people? Do you think Arsenal are lucky or unlucky with this? What are we saying? Big up Terry Tibbs. Big up Terry Tibbs. What if Arteta is playing the dark cards with Gabriel and he's not injured? I can see that happening, but I also don't see that happening. For me, for Carlo Ancelotti, it makes zero sense to do so. He gets the players for like 15 to 20 games a year when there are no international competitions happening, right? No Copa Libertadores or whatever, Copa America or World Cup or anything. He needs to have the best players available to him to basically rotate them to see what works, what doesn't work. He gets very limited time of these players. So for them to come out and say that they're doing scans and it's not looking great, that he's not traveling, he's staying to recover and everything, it kind of makes no sense to me. During international breaks specifically, it kind of makes no sense to me. If it was only Arsenal, right? If it was after an Arsenal game, I would take that with massive pinch of salt because we have seen it happen before. Since it's not just Arsenal, what's the point in him going there in the first place? Second of all, Gabriel already was training separately from the whole squad in the last training before the game against Senegal. He already was training separately because they were managing his load, looking that something was wrong and basically monitoring him. So I think there's also already happening like that. There already was some people looking at it. There were already some concerns and some question marks regarding his fitness. So I don't think there are no upsides to anything for Arteta and doing that. Only injuries that are serious are Big Gubby and Rice. Is he gets injured and maybe Saka, but with Arteta, well, we'll see. We'll see. If we are not careful, Rice will be next to go. And that is the biggest worry for me, personally, because I was very happy that we almost pretty much escaped everything injury-wise from international breaks until this Gabriel situation dropped, right? And the way Gabriel got injured last year, Saka got injured, Odegaard, Havertz, the most durable players who usually don't get injured. I had a feeling, and I expressed it also on the stream, that I won't be surprised if next one to get injured is Rice, or Gabriel is going to be injured again. Because the way it has happened at Arsenal so far is the fact that once a player has had an extended big injury, it takes a short time until they get injured again. Happened to Saka, happened to Odegaard, happened to Havertz, happened to Timber, and now it has also happened to Gabriel. Now, Declan Rice obviously had a few injuries here or there last season, small knocks and broken toe, and he still played through it. For me, the worry is that if he goes down with a bigger injury, it could be very, very bad. It could be very bad for Arsenal. We need to be very careful about Declan Rice because we don't have anyone to replace Declan Rice with at the moment. And if Declan Rice goes down injured, our next option is Merino. And that instantly, a drop-off from Rice to Merino is like the Grand Canyon pretty much. And for me, that is a big worry. Because the corner set pieces, especially for Arteta and Jover, our Rice-Gabriel partnership, that's their basically joker card, ace of spades. And if that basically falls flat, I'm not too sure how they're going to do things on set pieces because personally, I don't see any defender in Arsenal's team to carry the same aura, abilities, physical and mental abilities as and the positioning as Gabriel does. The way he can move through defenders and get at the end of the receiving end of a set piece of the cross, I don't see anyone doing that. And I think that is definitely going to put massive spanners in works. How we going to recover from that? Definitely, it's going to be very worrying. All these injuries are muscular, so they fatigue injuries. Exactly. And only one person is responsible for it. Some Gooners have Pikachu face when you ask them what's going on. Exactly. It's also not a coincidence that most of the injuries are muscular injuries. Because it's the training regime, it's the way we play, the style we play, the way we do things. And everything falls, obviously, and the penny begins and stops in this regard with, obviously, the manager, Mikel Arteta. It's not a coincidence. And also the fact that, for example, Gyökeres got injured. It's not a coincidence because he is getting asked to do things he has never done before. Did you see Gyökeres at Sporting Lisbon sprint like Usain Bolt in Beijing 2008 Olympics for the gold medal to recover the ball? You never see him doing that. He stays up there to receive the ball, plate off the shoulder, running behind in open spaces. And now his muscles are being tasked to do things they are not accustomed to doing. So it's not a surprise that he's injured. And it won't be a surprise if he gets injured even more. As well, if we take Gyökeres as an example, for example. In that point of view. Possible 11, Raya, Timber, Saliba, Kingpay, Calafiori, Rise with Mendy, Saka, Trossard, Gyökeres. Most likely. Yes. It looks like Gyökeres is going to be fit for that. If Rice gets injured, Arteta should be sacked immediately. We'll see. Gabriel and Rice are Arteta's only aces in the hole. Yeah, especially when we face low blocks. Those are the only options he has to beat low blocks. As soon as we face mid-low blocks, 90% of the time, the answer are set pieces. Corners, free kicks. Who delivers free kicks? 99% of the time, Rice. Who is at the receiving end? 90% of the time, it's Gabriel. And if that instant disappears, even one of them, God forbid both, it's done. And Declan Rice is not only on set pieces, it's also the running, everything he does on the pitch. He basically looks sometimes as he's gonna faint after the game because of the amount of running he's doing. And the partial running also includes covering Zubimendi's ass because he also screws up at times. If Timber gets injured again, we would be double cooked. There is if Timber goes down, it also could be a problem. And big up Claire for supporting the channel and constantly as well. Big up to you. I appreciate you from the bottom of my heart. Thank you so much. Hope you're having a great day. Tomorrow starts a new week begins for you, and hopefully it will be 10 times better than it was the last one. Odegaard might start, actually. Don't be surprised. We can't win trophies until Mikel learns to trust and utilize his full squad. Yeah. And we also will not win trophies, most likely, up until Mikel learns that the attackers are made for attacking, not defending. Because the whole of the Arsenal's team defends as a whole team. And you don't see that unless you park the bus, as if you are a smaller team. You don't see everyone behind the ball defending. Because if we get the ball, we have nobody to push out the ball to. We start from our own end, and by the time we get there, because nobody is there, we need to recycle the ball. The defense sets up, and we're done. The counter is over pretty much 9 times out of 10. You don't see this happening pretty much in any other big team. They play attacking football. Saka has said himself that Mikel Arteta's style and system basically makes and basically tells them for attackers to defend first and only then to think about attacking. Which club does that? Which big club that goes for trophies does that? Do you see Haaland defending in their own box, partially like Gyökeres is asked to do? They don't do that. He stays up there to pick up the ball, to hold off the ball, to distribute the ball when they get a long outlet to fight for the ball. Salah did that last year. Slot told him, you stay up there, we will get you the ball, and then we're going to go on a counter. Salah was not asked to do defending. But for us, Martinelli, Trossard, Saka, all of them need to be back instantly, as soon as we don't have the ball to set up the shape. And giving the money that Arteta has spent on defense, like, 300, 400 million? On midfield, 300, 400 million. You would think that he would trust his defense and midfield enough to do the defensive work and not force his attackers to defend. But no, he doesn't. He wants everyone to defend. And as good technically as it is, we have the lowest XG conceded, less shots conceded, best defensive record, and all this crap. We sacrifice our attack for it partially, let's be real. And up until this last summer, when we signed Gyökeres and Madueke for our attack for combined, 120 million almost, we had only spent from the 750 million at the time, only 80 million of all that money on attack. The rest of them have been midfielders, defenders, and goalkeepers. And that's basically what happens when you basically neglect certain part of the team. Because for 750 million, you would think you would have decent enough attack. Saka would have the backup. He would not have to basically be a coal miner for 3-4 years straight, which ended up him getting injured. And now he's basically a nobody to some extent. He's a shadow of himself to the maximum extent. It's actually insane. Holland play on Monday, so hope Timber does not feature. Hopefully. I'm not too sure though. Wait. Let me check Netherlands' schedule. They play against Lithuania in World Cup qualifiers, right? They need to finish first in the league, so they need basically to get at least a point, right? So how is the Netherlands' full matches looking? They played against Poland 2 days ago and they drew. The lineup was Gertrudia. Timber played center back, which is a bit of a worry, right? I think Timber might not play. I think Koeman might not play Timber. I think. Because De Ligt most likely is going to play with Van Dijk together. I would assume so. With maybe Gertrudia as a right back? Maybe. We'll see. Because Dumfries maybe? I don't even know. It's not looking great if you're looking at that point of view. But we'll see. I hope if Timber goes down in that last game against Lithuania, oh bloody hell, we will get cooked. I will be hella pissed and hella annoyed, to say the least. Timber doesn't need to play in that. He shouldn't. They must kind of win that without Timber. Exactly, especially at home, and it's Lithuania, for God's sakes. Norway have scored 1-1 against Italy. Nusa has scored from Sorla's assist. Nusa has scored for Norway. Maybe Arsenal will sign Nusa at some point. Who knows? But Nusa has scored for Norway. I'm flying to Chicago next week. Any interesting games I should go? MLS, NBA. Next week, right? So, yeah. I can only give you ideas on Chicago Bulls because I don't watch MLS. Genuinely couldn't give a flying F to some extent. Next week, November 22nd, next week at United Center, Bulls are playing against Miami Heat. That could be an interesting one. Bulls are playing Miami Heat on November 22nd. November 23rd, Bulls are playing against Wizards. I wouldn't suggest going to watch Wizards because they crap. But I would definitely suggest, if you can, on November 22nd, go watch Bulls versus Heat. I would suggest that if you can, of course. If you can and you have the abilities, let's just put it that way. Big up to you. Big up, big up, big up, big up. Obviously, it's kind of nice in that regard because I'm a Chicago Bulls fan. So you kind of asked in my field. Let's just put it that way. You kind of asked me a question in my field. Bulls tonight are playing against Utah Jazz away. I'm expecting a loss, which is very painful since Bulls won, 5 games in a row or 6 games in a row, and then they have lost the next 5, which is kind of annoying. But hey, it is what it is. But yeah, people, if you haven't already, smash the like and subscribe, and I'm gonna leave you here today. Thank you guys so much for being here. Thank you guys so much for chatting, talking, your comments. Big up, Claire, for the support, massive support. Big up to you. Hope you have a great start of the week. But yeah, people, hopefully tomorrow we get some good news on Gabriel. Otherwise, it could be Pecans, I'm not gonna lie. But yeah, for today, I am signing off. Have a great evening. Have a nice evening. Have a great day tomorrow. And hopefully I'm going to see you tomorrow as well. Peace.